News starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news here right now, an immigration enforcement agents, they are actually here conducting an operation in Little Tokyo. Video here shows at least one person, as we can see, being detained. Agents say this is part of the ongoing operation that we have seen happen in parts of LA over the past 2 months. Now, this is outside of an event Governor Newsom is actually holding. On the phone with us right now is NBC4's Robert Kovacic. Robert, are you with us?
Hello, Michael.
Yes, you are. Go ahead. You're at the event. Tell us what you've seen and what you've heard.
Well, listen, this was supposed to be an event that Governor Newsom is having a scheduled news conference where he's going to talk about the gerrymandering process, about redistricting the state of California in response to President Trump. You arrive here, and suddenly outside of the Japanese American National Museum, there is about 20 Border Patrol agents that are here lined up, and suddenly a man who appears to be working for some type of strawberry vendor, a driver, gets out to assemble whatever they're going to assemble to sell these strawberries. He is quickly whisked away. Border Patrol then starts to talk to the number of reporters that have gathered here, including NBC4 and Telemundo 52, and the Border Patrol's response was, "This is a rolling Border Patrol. This is what we are doing to keep Los Angeles safe." When I asked specifically, is it a coincidence that you just happen to be at Central and First outside of the Japanese American National Museum, where Governor Newsom is expected in minutes to begin this news conference? They wouldn't answer. They walked away. They walked to the end of the street. Then they got in white vans, drove away, and now we understand a number of Border Patrol agents are assembling outside of the Metropolitan Detention Center. As far as that strawberry vendor is concerned, Michael, I did speak with the people that were with him. They confirmed that, and I'm quoting here, the driver was taken away, but they do not want to talk. They're very upset. They're worried by talking to the media that they're going to make things worse. A number of people ran over. I wouldn't call them protesters. I wouldn't call them demonstrators. But let's just say they were concerned citizens asking ICE to leave, telling ICE to get out of here, and that they weren't welcome in the city of Los Angeles. The Border Patrol was here. Hang on, JR, my photographer's whispering. Okay, so now as this sort of like now becomes a bigger issue, remember there's a lot of political theater going on here right now, Michael. Not only do you have Border Patrol that was here, whether it was posturing, whether it was a coincidence, whether they were just doing their job and they just happened to be outside of where the governor was coming. So we have Newsom that is to assemble here. We have the federal government making their presence known here. And now my photographer, J.R. Hall, just whispered to me that a member of the mayor's team has just told us that Mayor Bass is on her way, obviously concerned about the events that are unfolding, events here in Los Angeles that are now going to be once again national headlines.
We talk about whether this is a coincidence or not, and the feds will say their justification will likely be this is an operation targeting a specific person. Any signs or tales of that, at least that you've heard or seen out there, Robert?
Hang on one second. Assembly member, what is going on, dude? How are you?
Press conference right now. Oh, we were in the press conference right now.
Say hi to Michael Brownlee. You're live on NBC4.
Hey, Michael Brownlee. It's Mark Gonzalez, Assembly member representing the Little Tokyo. I was just inside with the governor and many of my colleagues. We were announcing the plan to take back California, take back democracy. And right as the press conference was starting, 100 ICE agents came out. They kidnapped 2 people from outside of this press conference. They're creating theater. This is what this president does, reality TV. He doesn't like being bullied, and that's what they're doing here today.
We've heard of one person being detained. You're now telling us 2 people have been detained.
Yeah, to my understanding, there were 2 people. I was inside. My staff was out here, and they told me 2 people were detained.
Mark, what is the governor saying? Have you been in touch with his office at all?
We're literally with the governor right now as it was unfolding, and so he had just stood in front of me for the press conference, and we were just alerting his staff because they weren't aware either.
Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, thank you very much. Michael, again, Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez used to be head of the California Democratic Party here for Los Angeles County. We're hearing from him. We understand the mayor's coming. I'm looking at members of the LAPD that are assembled here. There are people still going in and out of the Japanese American National Museum. And as far as a federal presence is concerned, as far as those Border Patrol agents that were here, fully in uniform, identifiable. I want to make that clear that they were highly identifiable. They have seemingly moved elsewhere in Los Angeles after what they conducted, quoting here, roving border patrols.
And Lolita Lopez here now joining. Robert, thank you so much for being there on the field. Michael, let's catch everybody up. There's an immigration operation underway. This happening outside of a governor's event downtown. We knew there was a press conference going on there. The governor obviously coming out yesterday talking about gerrymandering tactics that we were going to take in California, he says, in response to what was happening in Texas. But also he and Mayor Karen Bass from Los Angeles have been asking and calling for the end to immigration raids. Yeah. In fact, Mayor Bass doing that just this morning. And then this raid happens to be here in this area. The Department of Homeland Security reportedly saying that this was part of roving operations happening across the city, but it seems coincidental, according to especially the assembly member there, who was at the press conference that was happening at the same time as Governor Newsom was giving his remarks.
Yeah, of course, that assemblyman saying that this is nothing more than political theater, as he put it. This is what this president does. We first heard that one person was detained, but now we have learned from that assemblyman, Gonzalez, said that 2 people have been detained. And as you mentioned, Lolita, calling this, according to the feds, a roving Border Patrol operation. The question was asked, it was poised, was this a coincidence because the governor is here in town? Apparently, according to Robert, he says that they didn't answer. He said that they were in full uniform. They were identifiable at this point, and he also says that they are no longer in the area. Do we still have Robert on the line?
We are here. We have just been asked to assemble because Mayor Bass is on her way, standing there with Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, who you spoke with just minutes ago. But just again, you're exactly right. The strawberry vendor, we know that the driver that was detained just outside of the Japanese American National Museum has been taken somewhere. We don't know. The people that were with him are very, very upset. Mayor Bass is here right now. Zach, I'm live on NBC. Can I get Mayor to talk on the phone as we walk, please? Okay. Okay. Let me just describe to you what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. Mayor Bass is here right now talking to the people that were with the strawberry vendor. Gang, I sent a photo of the vendor. It's a clearly marked produce truck with Instagram and Facebook all over it that's parked here, so you can take a look at it. The driver is talking to Mayor Bass. One of the people involved with the strawberry vendor here, very upset, trying to get. Are we live right now, Jay, on this one? Okay. Mayor Bass right here. I'm going to let you listen on speaker.
And to disrespect our iconic museum, what this museum represents, which is immigration. This museum represents the internment of the Japanese American community in Los Angeles. What happened before in our nation's history, and the idea that they would stage a stunt like that here. The governor is inside having a press conference. There was no reason in the world for them to come here. They came here in all of their cars to do what? To take somebody who was driving a car and then denying that they took anybody at all? This is a complete provocation. This has nothing to do with safety. In fact, this is the exact opposite of keeping our city safe. We do not need them here, and they had no business to come here and provoke this.
Mayor Bass, you're live on NBC4 right now. You do not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence?
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face. Why would you do that? That is unbelievably disrespectful. It's a provocative act. They're talking about disorder in Los Angeles, and they are the source of the disorder in Los Angeles right now. This is just completely unacceptable. This is a administration. This is a Customs and Border Patrol that has gone amok. This absolutely has to stop. There was no danger here. There was no need to detain anyone here. And there was certainly no need to have a provocative act right here where the governor is having a press conference.
Mayor, the commander, Bovino, said that they were on routine patrol
and that's why they were here. Mind you, the Metropolitan Detention Center is about 3-4 blocks away from here.
Well, there is no way in the world that I believe that, and I'm frankly disappointed in Bovino, because if he was serious and sincere about what their mission is, why on earth would he stage a provocative act in here, right here, in front of where the governor is? He did this intentionally to disrespect the governor, to disrespect this iconic museum, and to disrespect our state. Now, why is this helpful to anybody at all? At this point, this doesn't have anything to do with immigration at all. This is about causing trouble in our city.
What was the family and friends saying to you of the strawberry vendor that was detained and taken?
The family was angry. They wanted to know where their family member was, and they wanted to know why their family member was taken. And I was expressing to them my complete support for their family member. And you tell me that there was a cause. We have had 2 successful court orders. The court orders imposed a temporary restraining order. You want to talk about law and order? What you saw here was the Customs and Border Patrol violating law and order. The court decision said this was not supposed to happen. It was not supposed to happen based on somebody's physical appearance, based on the language that they speak, or the type of work that they do. This was an exact violation of that.
Mayor, what will you do to protect our Latino community?
Go ahead.
You know, the commander said that there was one arrest, but he would not tell me what the charge was. Your reaction to one arrest without letting us know what the charge was?
Well, it's probably because he doesn't know what the charge is. Probably because there was no substance to this at all. I guess they felt that they had to go away with at least one body. So what I'm going to do to protect all Angelenos is I am going to push back. We're going to use every tool in our toolbox to make sure that we do everything we can to keep Angelenos safe. But I will tell you that that is a very difficult charge for me to fulfill when the government itself violates the law. Here we are as Angelenos needing to protect ourselves from our own federal government. Today is the first day of school. Our school children should be able to go to school and not worry about getting captured or their parents being captured before they're home. And so, to me, this is just an egregious insult to that. Oh, excuse me. You know, I am so sorry. Let me introduce the councilwoman from the area, Isabel Gerardo, and also the assembly member, Mark Gonzalez.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Yes, our community members alerted us early on that this was happening about 15 minutes ago. We were coming from the Skid Row campus opening, and we were there. When we were alerted that ICE was here on site, they took away a man. They didn't have a warrant. We asked repeatedly for a warrant. They wouldn't produce one, and they put him in a van, and they left. And they were pointing their, I don't know, it seemed like guns or weapons at civilians who are not armed, who are not throwing anything, who are peacefully protesting and trying to make sure that their neighbor was staying and was safe.
Council members, a quick response for you and for the mayor today to come here to the scene. How are you all made aware of what was going on here? Did community members call you?
You heard from community
members. We have a rapid response network. I mean, one of our staff lives in Little Tokyo, sent us a video of ICE outside of the JANA Museum, and I immediately came over from Skid Row campus, and the mayor came over here. And we have rapid response teams here in the city of LA that are putting their bodies on the line to protect residents from being taken an unconstitutional right being taken away from them unconstitutionally.
Look, my name is Mark Gonzalez, and I have video of when the van started showing up. My staff is out here. I was inside with the governor when this started to unfold, and I want to echo the words of our mayor and our council member. This is the act of a coward, of a president who's trying to take hostage of our democracy. What we were doing in there today was delivering democracy for the sake of the rest of the nation. And what we are going to be doing next week is redrawing those lines to make sure that we sustain democracy that is being hijacked, that is being kidnapped like the people here today who were kidnapped by this president with no warrant, with no due process. And so I was in that press conference today, but I came out when my staff said that folks are being detained against their will.
Tough guy. Clearly decided, coincidentally or not, that this was a location to advance ICE arrests. Indiscriminate? Perhaps. We'll find out later. It was certainly indiscriminate when a 15-year-old disabled boy had a gun put to his head in Los Angeles trying to go to school just a few days ago.
Shame on him.
I met with it. I don't need to belabor this, except I want to level set. People are scared. People are fearful. You had a United States senator that was thrown down to the ground in a federal building. Alex Padilla. J.D. Vance's name is Alex Padilla, not Jose Padilla. That's the Vice President of the United States. It's another museum not so far away from us. Talks about those 53 days. Some of you know what I'm referring to. Wake up, America. This is a serious moment. Wake up to what's going on. Wake up to the fear, the anxiety. Wake up to what's happening, not just here in Los Angeles, where we saw our streets militarized. We saw due process rights thrown out the window. You heard the word disappeared. I was with a 12-year-old boy born in Oxnard, California, whose mother and father were disappeared. 20 years going to the same packing facility every single day. He didn't even know how to get back into his own home, into his own house. Had no brothers and sisters. He has now disappeared in an attempt to find his parents. That's Trump's America. That's the moment we're living in. So these are sober times. And so I'm deeply grateful to all of you for standing up and for being here today. I'm grateful for all the elected officials that are here, members of Congress, not just our 2 U.S. senators, to members of the California legislature for having the courage of their convictions, for standing tall and standing firm, to recognize today is Liberation Day in the state of California. And as Senator Schiff said, Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back. Here's the good thing about California, folks. We're the size of 21 state populations combined. We're the 4th largest economy in the world. We're not a small, isolated state. I know they say don't mess with Texas. Well, don't mess with the great Golden State. And so we're here with our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction, to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy on fire, tried to wreck this country, tried to steal an election, as Alex just said, by trying to dial in for 11, almost 12,000 votes. And here we are, in open and plain sight, before one vote is cast in the 2026 midterm election. And here he is once again trying to rig the system. He doesn't play by a different set of rules. He doesn't believe in the rules. And as a consequence, we need to disabuse ourselves of the way things have been done. It's not good enough to just hold hands, have a candlelight vigil, and talk about the way the world should be. We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt. And we have got to meet fire with fire. And we've got to be held to a higher level of accountability. So that's what this is about. It's not complicated. We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called a sitting governor of the state of Texas and said, find me 5 seats. We're doing it in reaction to that act. We're doing it mindful of our higher angels and better angels. We're doing it mindful that we want to model better behavior, as we've been doing for 15 years in the state of California with our Independent Redistricting Commission. But we cannot unilaterally disarm. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country, not just in Texas, but in Missouri, where J.D. Vance went just a week ago, in Indiana, in places like Ohio, in places like Florida. We need to stand up, not just California. Other blue states need to stand up. We need to be firm in our resolve. We need to put back. So we're here in that light. And I'm grateful to have remarkable partners in the legislature. It's a tall task. We're asking them for 2/3 of a legislative consent. But this is the difference. This is the difference between what's happening in Texas and what's happening here in California. We didn't receive a phone call from the President of the United States to then quietly go in the back room and start drawing maps and legislatively try to jam them through against the consent of the people. We're doing precisely the opposite. We're working through a very transparent, temporary, and public process. We're putting the maps on the ballot, and we're giving the power to the people. This will be the first redistricting that's ever done that. That's the difference. We tried to raise the standards, and these guys are not playing by any set of rules. So this time requires us to act anew, not just think anew. And so I'm grateful to all of the remarkable leaders that have stepped up, this unifying effort here in the state of California. And we'll be asking for the people on November 4th, a special election, coinciding with a lot of local municipal elections, to provide a temporary pathway for congressional maps. We will affirm our commitment to the state independent redistricting after the 2030 census, but we're asking the voters for their consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030 for the congressional maps, to respond to what's happening in Texas, to respond what Trump is trying to excite. And we'll do so in a way that also affirms our desire as a state to level the playing field all across the United States. We believe in a national independent redistricting framework. And we believe that's the right goal and the right thing to pursue. And I will just state for the fact, Zoe Lofgren, who runs our California delegation, she authored the bill. Democrats unanimously supported that National Independent Redistricting Commission. Republicans were nowhere to be found. They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides, because they know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms. He knows de facto his presidency ends in 17 months when Speaker Jeffries is back in office. He knows it. Why else would you try to rig the system? Why else would you make the phone call? He's a failed president. Who else sends ICE same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength.
That's what he does.
The most unpopular president in modern history. An economy that's collapsing all around him. You saw the new wholesale prices going up almost a full percentage point today. Inflation is going up. Job creation is going down. He's trying to rewrite history, Smithsonian, censoring historical facts. And in the spirit of what Adam Schiff said, he's trying to put America in reverse on voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what this is all about. It's about power, and I want to end on this. And we are about to give power back to the people. You have, on November 4th in California, you have the power to stand up to Trump. You have the power to declare that you support a system that is not rigged. You have the power on November 4th to stand up for people that are being bullied. You have the power to stand up for people that are being intimidated. You have the power to stand up to the rule of law. We're giving the people of this state the power to save democracy, not just in California, but all across the United States of America. I hope we are waking up to this reality. Wake up, America. Wake up to what Donald Trump is doing. Wake up to his assault. Wake up to the assault on institutions and knowledge and history. Wake up to his war on science and public health. In his war against the American people. This is a guy who lays claim to want to get a Nobel Prize, sitting there and bending his knee to
All right, it is 12:30 and you're watching NBC4 News here. Breaking news coverage of an immigration operation happening near the Japanese American National Museum. We just heard from Governor Newsom here, who made reference to what is happening outside of the museum right now. He says, bottom line, people here are scared.
Yeah, Lolita Lopez here with Michael Brownlee. Some things were happening outside while he was talking about redistricting inside. This is a planned press conference. These operations, however, do not appear to be planned. According to the Border Patrol, they said they were roving operations. At least one person, as we see there on screen, being taken there. Apparently, from our news shot before, we saw that person had a Mexican flag. This was all happening, again, outside of the event there in Little Tokyo.
Speaking of Border Patrol agents, we have sound from what they had to say about that man being detained.
Today, Customs and Border Protection is conducting roving patrol duties here, as you can see, in downtown Los Angeles. This is a location that we have conducted these roving patrol duties for the past 2 months. We've been here over 2 months, and as you can see today, we did make an apprehension just a few feet from where I'm standing. The reason for these roving patrols and the reason for our presence here in Los Angeles is to make, first off, Los Angeles a safer community, a safer place for us to live and work.
All right, that's there from U.S. Border Patrol. However, with the governor in town, a lot of people are asking the question, is this really a coincidence?
Right, because one of the things is there's 2 lawsuits. We heard the mayor alluding to that is supposed to stop these types of immigration raids on how, in part, they're being conducted, limiting them to not approach people just for the color of their skin, the speaking, or their work that they are doing. They're very precise in there, and the mayor, who came down to this area, very upset about what happened. Let's take it on over to Robert Kovacic, who has been on the ground bringing us this information, and you were with the mayor when she did speak. Robert, just tell us a little bit about what is happening at this point.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that was probably, in all the interviews we've ever experienced with the mayor, that was up in the top 3 of anger. I mean, she was really, really exploding there about what happened here just outside the Japanese American National Museum. And eventually she was flanked by Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez and Councilmember Isabel Jurado, who is walking over right now as I speak. Well, I want you to go back right now, and a lot of this, we saw the mayor as she was coming in, and let me just sort of explain to you what happened here, guys. There was Border Patrol showed up here. This is before the mayor arrived, before the governor arrived. Border Patrol was here and in position, right? They were here just outside of the Japanese American National Museum. That strawberry truck, a man got out of the strawberry truck and proceeded to get ready to sell his strawberries, right? That's his family right there, very upset, doesn't want to talk. The man was suddenly taken away by Border Patrol agents, clearly marked, right? A number of them were here. They held a news conference that you just heard, quickly assembled, asked them, why are you here at the same time the governor is coming to have a news conference talking about gerrymandering? Wouldn't answer. Wouldn't say if it was a coincidence. Wouldn't say if it was directly related to this. Let's bring in Councilmember Isabel Jurado. Councilwoman, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming. First of all, the immediate response that you had is because we now have citizens reporting to your office when things are going down in the city of Los Angeles. And when I say things are going down, federal agents detaining people. The mayor said 2 people have been detained so far.
Yes, community has always taken care of community. In light of these ICE raids, we have a rapid response network that's been very robust, and our constituents are in direct touch with our office. So when Little Tokyo residents saw that there were ICE trucks outside of JANM, they immediately alerted our office. And I was at a press conference in Skid Row, and we made a turnaround to come here as soon as possible and witness someone being taken by federal agents.
Isabel, Mayor Bass calls this political theater. What are you calling this?
I think it's political theater as well. It's no coincidence that the federal agents showed up outside of the governor's press conference to take away from the fact that California is standing strong and fighting back to the redistricting to make sure that he's not going to be in office. And the fact of the matter is, we kept asking them, where is your federal warrant? They couldn't answer that question. We asked them what was the charge. They couldn't answer that question. And like Mayor Bass said, it's because they didn't even know why they were here, what the answer was. It was just a stunt to do it, to distract from the real issue, which is this federal occupation that continues to create violence in our communities.
Councilmember Isabel Jurado, thank you so much. Stay here with us.
Okay.
We're going to walk over here. Michael and Lolita, what you see here is the end of the news conference that Governor Newsom had. I see Brad Sherman just right there. As we walk over to him, we talked about Mayor Bass. She quickly arrived here. Boy, was she angry. Let's listen.
We're going to use every tool in our toolbox to make sure that we do everything we can to keep Angelenos safe. But I will tell you that that is a very difficult charge for me to fulfill when the government itself violates the law. Here we are as Angelenos needing to protect ourselves from our own federal government. Today is the first day of school. Our school children should be able to go to school and not worry about getting captured or their parents being captured before they're home. And so, to me, this is just an egregious insult.
Senator Padilla, Senator, we're live right now on NBC. May I ask the Senator a few questions? What do you make of what happened today, Senator? With what happened today with the Border Patrol outside of Governor Newsom's
it's not a coincidence. I mean, Trump is all about spectacle. He's trying to intimidate. But guess what? Californians don't get intimidated. Not that easy.
When you talk about what's happening, though, right now, 2 people detained, that the Border Patrol out here saying they're just trying to keep the streets of Los Angeles safe. Is that the situation that we're in right now?
If this mission was really about keep public safety, rule of law, and going after dangerous, violent criminals, then why is the vast majority of the people that have been arrested, been detained, been deported, have no criminal conviction? Why are they going into schools of all places, work sites, and houses of worship? Really? It's an overreach. They're abusing their power.
Senator Padilla, thank you so much. Alex Padilla talking to us there. Again, a number of people just walking out now of this news conference. Maxine Waters among those that were here. Signs saying defend democracy. As you remember, this was Governor Newsom talking about this was going to be a news conference regarding redistricting the state of California in response to the president's plans regarding Texas. And we wait now to hear what Newsom has to say when he comes out about what happened here. Again, this is outside of the Japanese American National Museum. This was the Border Patrol that was here outside of the entrance that happened to be here at the same time doing what they call roving border patrols. At the same time, Governor Newsom was planning this news conference. And so here today, we asked the mayor, was this the point of the federal government to try to draw attention away from this gerrymandering news conference and to bring it back to the situation of border protection here in Los Angeles? And she said, whatever the point was, she blames this on political theater. This was no coincidence. Again, Michael and Lolita do want to point out that we did ask the Border Patrol, did you just happen to be here at this time making these arrests or taking these people into detention, into custody for however long? And they would not answer the question. As we wait here, and I think if you guys want to stick with me, let's go over and see what Brad Sherman has to say about this. And walk with me, if you will. Congressman Sherman, can I interrupt your... I'm going to interrupt your photograph with these people here, if you don't mind. We're live on NBC. It's good to see you, sir. You know, first of all, there was a lot of drama right now outside of this news conference here, taking, you know, the message away from the gerrymandering as we had Border Patrol here taking people into custody right now, detaining them. Are you aware of what happened right now in the streets of Los Angeles this morning?
I'm aware of what happens in general. I don't know what happened while I was in there. But, I mean, are they here to arrest the governor and the senators? I'm sure Trump would like to. And he seems to regard these ICE agents as his own personal political police. And I have no idea why a president who said that he wants to deport criminals comes here. Unless he thinks the governor's a criminal and the members of Congress are criminals.
Congressman, you've gone to court about this. You've made speeches about this. The governor, the mayor, but it's still happening on the streets of Los Angeles. For those people that are there, still at home, still wondering if they can go outside, worried that they will be detained by Border Patrol, by ICE, what's the message for them?
Look, I've got information on my website, bradsherman.house.gov, but it's not a perfect solution, obviously. And for people of goodwill around this city. This election we're going to have here in California, not next year, but in November, is our chance to repudiate the Trump agenda. And we've got to carry this initiative by a huge majority, something that Trump can't ignore.
So, Brad, was the solution inside there today to try and redistrict the state of California?
That is unfortunately, but necessarily part of the solution. But we have got to, America has survived the first 6 months of Trump being in total control of Washington. We've got to stop that by November of next year. And we can do that only if California adopts this initiative.
It seems that the lines in the sand have really been drawn here in Los Angeles as the nation watches to see how this is all going to play out.
Look, we should have nonpartisan redistricting commissions all the time nationwide. I'm very proud of the initiative that we have here in California that establishes a nonpartisan redistricting commission. I've supported legislation to have such commissions in every one of the 50 states. And instead, Trump is literally trying to steal seats, trying to take members who are very good members out, not because he can beat them in an election, but because he doesn't like them.
Congressman Brad Sherman joining us live on NBC4 this afternoon. Thank you so much. So as you see, a lot of voices, some of them just coming out, not even understanding what took place here just a short time ago as the federal government once again was here just outside of the news conference that Governor Newsom was holding here at the Japanese American National Museum in downtown Los Angeles. That is where we're live. I'm Robert Kovacic. Let's go back to you all.